सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतः छार्थेष्वभिज्ञं स्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदाय आदिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः तेनो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकम् सत्यं परं धीमहि सच्चिदानन्दरूपाय विश्वोत्पत्त्यादिहेतवे तापत्रयविनाशाय श्रीकृष्णाय वयं नमः नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् ततो जयमुदीरयेत्
We had completed this, Aarti?
Yeah, Daksha's descendants we completed, we went ahead. We were, yeah.
Yes. Okay. We were in the...
Yeah, he says the Guru had abandoned the Devas. Why did the Guru abandon the Devas? Now Parikshit has asked this question to Shukhamuni. How can a Guru abandon his own Sishyas? So now the story follows. So till now we saw the creation of all the different living beings. Sea animals and land animals and birds, and then the people in the different lokas and the different talas, the higher lokas and the talas, the apsaras and all of that, and then the human beings, everything, the whole creation was shown there. Creation of Jiva.
And everything, the source is one.
One.
If that much we remember, that itself is... so we all are born from the same source. Be it Asura, so in our Sanatana Dharma, we do not have a separate Satan, and be it Sura or Asura, it is the same. Kashyap is the father, and Diti and Aditi are the mothers for both Suras and Asuras. And we saw everything, right? That huge, all that. Yes. So this is the story, the birth of Vritrasura. So how Brihaspati, right? Why he abandons Indra? Why he leaves? That's the story now. Indra had become proud because he was the Lord of Heavens. Once he was seated on the throne with Sachi by his side. All the heavenly attendants were surrounding him, and his glories were sung by the Gandharvas. It's also we saw. Apsaras were entertaining him with their dances, and the court of Indra was glowing with beauty and music. The music of Gandharvas and the Kinnaras. The 7 Maruts, the 11 Rudras, the 12 Adityas, the Ashwini Kumaras, and all the lords of the quarters were there to pay homage to Indra. The great Brihaspati, the divine preceptor, came to the court. In his arrogance, Indra did not get up from his seat and honor his guru. Brihaspati could not brook this insult. Without speaking, he stood for a long moment, staring at the arrogant Indra on the throne, and turning back, walked away from there. He left the court and then reached home. Only after his guru left did Indra realize the magnitude of his impertinence. He chided himself with the words, "Oh, in my pride, I have insulted my Kula Guru. I must go to him at once and fall at his feet. I must crave his pardon." Indra rushed to the home of Brihaspati, but the Guru, anticipating this move from Indra, had already made himself invisible, and Indra could not find him. He was at a loss as to what he should do. I think we saw this, no?
Yeah, we saw as Indra is the mind. Okay, try to connect Indra with the mind.
We'll continue.
Yeah, let's continue. So he's basically turned away. When he's turned away from from his mind is not identified with the higher self. The mind is now identified with all this dance and all the sensory pleasures. That is the way this is denoted. The mind is now associated with all the sensory pleasures. And even when a guru came, he acts in a disrespectful way. And so that is like the lowest, right? Guru automatically some kind of, even if that mind is there with the pleasures, not recognizing, the guru is like a reminder. That guru tattva is like a reminder. See, again, let us understand this Brihaspati is also within me, the guru tattva. The guru tattva is somewhere telling, you are caught with your sensory pleasures, time to turn around 180 degrees. But there he has not heeded to that guru tattva also. So so that voice has been completely subdued. Even that Guru Tattva is not being listened to. So now we are continuing. So he has been cursed.
Yes. In fact, it is very nice, this one sentence. In his arrogance. So, without speaking, he stood for a long moment staring at the arrogant Indra on the throne. Look at the compassion. It does wait. It does wait. Even when we forget, when we are in absorbed in it, it need not be only sense indulgence, everything, right? Even deep sorrow could be, whenever we are turn away from the guiding inner guide within, the higher self, it stands for a long time. Yes, and then disappears. It makes itself invisible. Then we need to go one whole circle and then learn, come back. Brahma, the news spread like wildfire that Indra was without his religious mentor and that he was feeling lost without him. Taking advantage of his helplessness, the Asuras, headed by their guru Shukra, waged war on Indra and the heavenly host. The Devas were, as usual, defeated shamefully. Hurt by their position more than by the weapons of the Asuras, the Devas went to Brahma and poured out their misery. They asked him to advise them as to what they should do. Brahma, taking pity on the Devas and on Indra especially, said, "Indra, you have in your pride insulted a great man. It is very unfortunate that this should have happened. I can only suggest one thing. You must go now and request Vishwarupa, the son of Twashta, to help you. He is great and he is fit to be your guru. He should be made to accept the role of the preceptor of the Devas. Being an Asura, his sympathies will, however, be with the Asuras. You should be able to overlook that and ask him to be your guru. He will help you." So from here starts the Shakti. Guru Shakti is starting to work. See, Guru is always there. When we lose sight of that inner guide, then what happens? He takes us through the entire circle and then makes us again pay our attention back to the inner guide. So now this is what is starting now. It's a very interesting story where we will see how Indra is brought back to track. So this is the suggestion given by Brahma. Do we continue, Aarti?
I think so.
The Devas went to Vishwarupa. So Vishwarupa is the Asura's guru here. Okay. This is not, I think, the architect. It's a different Vishwarupa. I think so. The Devas went to the Vishwarupa and falling at his feet, Indra said, "We have come to you as supplicants, nay, beggars. It is not right that we should teach you the nuances of Dharma, but we wish to remind you that a guru who teaches the Vedas is the personification of Vedas themselves. A father is the image of Prajapati and a mother the image of earth. A brother is the image of Indra and a sister the image of compassion. An uninvited guest is the Lord Dharma himself, while an invited guest is an image of Agni. All living beings are but forms of the Lord. As such, you should treat us as your equal. You should become our Guru and lead us to victory. You are younger than me in age, but I fall at your feet since you are going to grant me a boon and I am going to receive it. Since you will have to be our Guru, age does not stand in the way of our salutations to you. Please grant us our desire. Please be one of us." Devas know everything, all theory. They are bringing out all the theory and somehow convincing Vishwarupa to be their guru. Vishwarupa smiled at them and said, "The role of the preceptor is not good for me. Being a preceptor is a thing which has been disapproved of by the wise, since it will cloud the Brahma Tejas in a rishi. But you are in trouble and you have asked me to help you. It is the dharma to help those who are in need of help, and I will accept your offer. It is a big sacrifice that you are asking me to make, and yet, as I am in a dilemma, I am not able to refuse you this favor. I will be your guru."
For a person who is caught in the world, it is very difficult to be a guru, to
Who
turn
is
the mind around.
no? Who is a rishi? Brahma Tejas, who is already in Brahma Tejas. He is in Brahmanishta.
For
He
him,
doesn't
it is very
want to.
difficult to become a guru to
Yeah.
Indra.
Yes.
That is what he is saying.
Yes.
He's saying it's very because you ever seen a person who is in a very worldly way? You try to convince them about spirituality, why you should become spiritual, why you should turn your mind to the this thing. Very difficult, unless they are ready, of course. But because if they come and ask you, then it may be. That is what Vishwarupa is saying. But he may not approach them directly. But since they have come and asked him, now he will try to do that. If they have not asked, if we just try to keep, convincing people to go sometimes it can cause a lot of turbulence within us, within the guru only, who is trying to actually try and put sense into the other person's mind.
Yeah. And one more thing here is, when someone is in that Brahmanishta, they say, a jnani cannot see an ajnani outside. Everyone looks like a realized person for them. Because for them, there is no body and mind. They are in that free, they are the real, Nitya, they say, Nitya Shuddha Buddha Mukta. Yes, the eternal, they are that all pervasive. And so they cannot see. It is said that Ramana Bhagavan, when someone asks him, he says, "I cannot see. For me, I have to think. Only then thinking is a big work." For them, it is just the ulta of where we are. For us, this we without knowing it is a big work, we are doing it. It is a big work for us also. But we are so used to it. The mind is so used to so much effort. With no effort, I cannot stay. With no work, I cannot stay. So I continue to work. Yes. But for someone, that is why the Brahma Tejas, they say, someone in that, it is a huge effort to come down to the level of the jivas and guide them. And what happens? Sometimes they may get caught with some karma also. Some karma.
Yes.
You never know. Here again, Vishwarupa, he doesn't get caught with it, but there is one karma that he does later. Okay. So, so Vishwarupa became their guru, and since he was conversant with many arts, he was able to restore their lost ways to the Devatas. So he started guiding them. So this was greatest service to Indra was the powerful armor by name Narayana Kavacha. So this is a great shloka, right? Set of verses that people chant in many Bhagavata, whatever Saptaha places. And Narayana Kavacha, I think many may know here also. It is a set of verse. Beautiful it is. Maybe, I don't know if she will go through that, I think. Yeah, we can read that. So Narayana Kavacha, which he placed on him. He initiated the king of the Devas in the incantation of the sacred mantra Om Namo Narayanaaya. Every organ of sense and thought and action is made to be covered with thoughts on Narayana, and this becomes an armor against all evil. Incessant repetition of the mantra Om Namo Narayana was the secret of the Kavacha. Wearing this Kavacha, Indra was able to defeat the Asuras in the war with them. Once a yajna was performed with Vishwarupa as the preceptor, while he was officiating priest for Indra, the lord of the Devas, Vishwarupa had to invoke the Devas for their share of the Havis with the words Indraya idam, Varunaya idam. Yeah, so before that, instead of jumping to the next, what is happening, just to dwell a little more on this Narayana Kavacha. So basically, here he gives that, very beautifully here she's written, no, every sense, every thought, every action, is in everything, this Narayana mantra is invoked, and so that becomes a shield. So that wards off all negative tendencies, basically. Here, the asuras are the negative tendencies. It wards off all the negative tendencies, and one is able to win over that just with this Om Namo Narayanaaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya also, he gives so many things is there in Narayana Kavacha. That's the shield. With that shield, I think Prahalada is one example, right? With that shield, nothing affects. Aarti, you're on mute.
Just how this shield works.
Mm.
Can you give me share access?
Mm.
Oh, you'll have to stop sharing for some time. Already 2 minutes.
Yeah, I've made you co-host.
Right. So, I'll just show one video on how this becomes a kavach. It has been explained by, I think it is Swami Paramananda on bhakti and how it works. One sec. You're able to see the screen, right?
Yes.
I just want to.
Hey, you're on mute, Aarti.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
So
Please
here's the
start.
conscious mind, and here is the subconscious mind. Now, this subconscious mind has so many impressions. There can be so many impressions, right? I like this, I don't like this person did this to me, this has, so I have a hurt and then that keeps getting deepened. All of these impressions are there in my mind. Okay, now all these impressions come the moment the mind turns away from the supreme and turns to the world. Then all of these impressions are there. So at that time, this kavacha, the chanting of the name of God, that kavacha, when we start chanting at that also becomes a seed in the subconscious mind. And when that seed, repeated chanting of that nama or of that mantra, then keeps making this strengthened. It strengthens and it keeps growing. And the effect of this seed of mantra, like that kavach within, that seed, the spiritual seed within, it causes whenever any negative inputs come from outside. Now what happens, whenever there's a negative input that comes in, it will touch one of the vasanas and it'll say, oh, this person is telling this makes me feel bad. And immediately I start reacting. But what happens is, when such an input comes, this particular seed of the divine seed, this wonderful nama or that mantra, that deflects it. It deflects the impressions. It goes, the moment this vasana comes and we start chanting the name, then that becomes, it deflects. It takes away the effect of the vasana. And the more we chant, the more this gets strengthened. And slowly, all the vasanas are hidden by this bigger, this becomes a kavacha, total protection to us from all the vasanas within us. All the negative tendencies, all the strong impressions that we have collected, it becomes like a kavacha. So, and it deflects everything away, that effect of the negativities do not touch us. And it stops us from, so that then you have the power to turn towards the Lord again and stay there.
Yes, this picture, I think we just have it in our mind. It's very beautiful.
Yeah. So through persistent spiritual practice of chanting the name of God, the devotion center becomes firmly established. The firmly established devotion center becomes the strongest thought, prompting one to do only righteous deeds, and thoughts from the impressions in our mind are not allowed to go through the conscious mind and hence reduce their influence over us. Next class, maybe we can actually bring up the Narayana Kavacham. We can bring it up, but then we will not be able to upload it if we do that now, no? From YouTube.
Yeah, correct.
Hmm.
If you want to listen, yeah, if we show it now, it will be, we'll see.
Yeah.
Classic can download, I don't know.
We'll share it in the group. We
Yeah,
can all listen to it. It's available.
Yes, that's better. So now, with this kavacha, this is the kavacha given by Vishwarupa to Indra. So with that now, all his, that asuras and all, he is defeated. Now the yajna is performed. So the harvest is given to Indra and Varuna, and then Vishwarupa, who was an asura, he was an asura, right? Naturally partial to the asuras, and by trickery he made the harvest to reach the asuras when he pronounced the above mantras. Okay, so this the effect of that yajna is the impact. Asuras also get the benefit of that. That's what it means. Indra saw that he was being deceived by his preceptor. Brahma had warned him of this contingency and had told Indra that he should put up with it. But Indra could not brook this behavior of the Asura. He took up his sword and cut off the 3 heads of Vishwarupa. The head by name Somapitham, which was so named because he would drink Soma with it, or Somapitham, which was so named because he would drink Soma with it, was the first head to go. This, when severed from his body, became a bird, Kapinjala. The head which would drink Sura was hence called Surapitam, which became another bird by named Kalavinga. The third, called Annadam, because he would eat food with it, became the bird Tittiri. So each of these also they go and do some either see, yeah, he does some what do you say Prayashchitra Indra. Since he had killed a Brahmana, Indra was visited by the death curse Brahmahatya. Yes, Brahmana and his own guru also, no? It is a big, big curse. For 1 year, he suffered it. He had to go through the effect of that. After the year was over, this entire story is very in detail given in Devi Bhagavatam. He goes, actually, how beautifully he gets back his tapasya. He actually goes to a place, he gets into the, stem of a lotus and he does tapas there, and how he gets back. The prashchita means we think we do some puja, something, and then it's over. No, it is about enduring the consequence of that, and time takes, and in that time, with complete attention towards Bhagwan is what Indra did. And then he comes back. So it's a very detailed, beautiful story given by in Devi Bhagavatam. After the year was over, he requested the earth, the trees, the woman, and water to share it among themselves and rid him of the sins. So each of these, what they took also is there. I'm not remembering the others. It is said that for women, that is why we have that menstrual cycle, which happens. So for the other animals and all, I've heard it is not like the experience that a human undergoes. And so that was taken by women, it seems. So the other things I'm not remembering. So they shared the Indra's, sin, part of the sin. In return, he granted them boons, which made the Brahmahatya ineffective in the long run. So this is Twashta was very angry with Indra for having. So Twashta is the father
So
of.
there was a consequence to the action.
Yes, very much.
You cannot escape the consequence to the action when it is just that when that consequence comes, what are you doing? Are you suffering it, or are you, like that, patiently tolerating it with your mind on the divine? That is all the difference. But what will happen, kind of.
And generally they say, right, okay, the impact is less. Truly, the impact becomes less when the mind is turned towards divine. That's all. Yeah, our contact with that pain, the lesser it is, lesser is the suffering. Yes, when the contact is more, then I am so much caught with it and I go through it. Okay, so in fact, Swami Sarvapriyananda, many years back, I remember he was talking about the science of pain. It was very beautiful. So even in modern science, it is said that, only 10% is the pain that somehow, I don't know how they derive at these numbers. Okay, there is a proper scientific way in which they have come up with the numbers. It's not a random thing. I'm just sharing what he came with proper data. I'm not remembering it. So 10% is actually the outside pain. See, even if it is bodily hurt, okay, something is hurt and it's happening. But more and more I attach with it. When the mind gets so attached with it, when I go through it, that makes it 90%, it seems. So the suffering is in the mind. Okay, even at the body level. So,
and it actually increases the pain.
yeah.
And even bodily that gets affected, it seems to stay longer.
Yes.
And cause more trouble.
Yes.
So it is in the body, leave it in the body. Tolerate, that's all, no? That, I don't know, we have spoken about this emotional fasting. Fasting, what do we do when we fast? Today, I have not eaten. Say for fasting, I'm not eating anything. What happens? The hunger is there. The constant feeling of hunger is there. But I am ignoring it. I am not giving importance. My willpower, I mean, whatever. I'm saying, okay, you may feel hungry, but I'm not giving it to you. So similarly, when the pain is there, okay, you are there, you will go away after some time. But for now, I'm not going to give you any importance, whether it is the pain of the body, whether it is the pain of the mind, any kind of suffering. We just have to endure.
And
If
that
you
is
complain,
possible
it
when
will
we,
come. When I'm complaining, no, I made it a part of my mind.
yes, yes, yes. That thought is, so thought fasting, like emotion fasting, do thought fasting
Not
also.
fasting. Mhm.
And the more and more, so basically, so where then I put the mind? If I'm not going to feed the thought that it is painful, oh my God, it is terrible, whatever it is, if that thought I have chosen not to feed, then where will the mind? Mind needs a place. Mind will not say, I'm not going to exist. It will want its exist. It will establish, I am there. Hello, I am there. I'm there. I'm there. So where to put it? That is why we have these namasmarana, satsanga and nama japa, reading, this, all that. We have to put mind at a higher level. Only then tolerance will build. If I divert the mind with something which is at the same level as the pain, like some movie or something, which could be at the same level as the bodily pain, or it could be even lower than that. Okay, then for some time I may feel okay, but then I am now dependent on that. Okay, unless a movie is there for me to watch, I do not have the power to endure. So the dependence goes on something else. That is not the idea. Here, we are dependent on ourselves. We turn the mind within, and the mind is given a beautiful place in Lord's heart. And we say, I am chanting your name. That's it. So endure. Actually, yeah, the suffering is very less in that. That is endurance. Twashta was very angry with Indra for having killed his son. So, Vishwarupa. Twashta is Vishwarupa's father. He performed a homa and the invocation was, Arise, Indra Shatru. Come out and kill your enemy soon. When the yaga was over, there arose out of the fire a dreadful form. He was dark and huge, and he glowed like a cluster of clouds at close of the day. His hair was copper red, and so were his eyes. They were hot and burning like the sun at the zenith. He held a trident in his hand, and looking at him, people fled in sheer terror. So fearful was his form, his voice, his roar. So he was called Vritra. Mhm. You want to say something, Arti?
So Vritra, the names are also very, very, very carefully chosen here. Okay, if you study the Patanjali Yoga Sutra, there's this word called vritti, which is an activity. Of course, in the Patanjali Yoga Sutra, it is an activity of the mind. Any activity in the mind is called vritti, and whenever that vritti gets caught in something, whenever there is an entanglement, when it is not free flowing, and then it becomes a klesha. So like that, this vrittasura is I am just thinking this is a connection in a way of that klesha. There is a strong now, a small seed can grow within the mind. And now, so there is a subsequent activity of vrittasura, like that major asura which is coming up. It's growing. There's some connection, right? Vritra and vritti. I don't know. The root word is the same. Anybody who knows Sanskrit, if you can share if there is any similarity, you can. Please tell.
Mhm. The fearful made it Vritra. Yeah. So now the Vritrasura is out. We will see the origin of Vritrasura also. That is also very beautiful. We will see what it is. You would like to continue reading?
Okay. Indra gets his Vajra. Vritra led the Asura host against that of the Devas. He was so powerful that the Devas would not withstand his prowess. He would not be quelled by anything. The astras of the devas were all ineffectual and they were swallowed by the son of Twashta. Vritta glowed with added brilliance because of the divine astras which were now lodged inside him. Here the son of Twashta they're talking about is Vritra or
Yes.
Vishwarupa.
Yes. No.
Vritra, right?
Vritra.
The devas fled from his presence in terror and panic. They rushed to Adi Purusha, Narayana. The Lord of Lords appeared before them and said, "Be without fear. I will suggest to you a method by which you can destroy Vritra. I suggest that you approach the great Rishi called Dadichi. He is the one who taught Brahma Vidya to the Ashwini twins. In return, the Ashwini Kumaras have granted him immortality. You go to the Dadichi and ask him for his strong and powerful bones. Dadichi is the one who gave the impregnable armor to Twashta. He gave it to his son, and the son in his turn gave it to you, Indra. If you take the Ashwini twins with you and with their help ask the Rishi for his body, he will renounce it for you. Out of his bones, ask your architect Vishwakarma to fashion a dreadful weapon. Call it the Vajrayudha. Backed up as you always are with my glory, you will kill Vritta with the Vajra. You will cut off his head, and after his death, you will get back your glory, and all your astras will come back to you."
Yeah. See, it is also said here that sage Dadichi, I think in Bhagavatam, they say, Narayana asks Indra and Devas to go and ask Dadichi the backbone. Okay, so the significance of that. Dadichi is a great tapasvi. All his tapasya shakti, basically, the symbolism or the significance behind it is the entire tapasya shakti of Dadichi is put in a weapon now. Yeah. So that tapasya shakti of Dadichi is put in the weapon, and it is said that later he says, right, even Narayana himself also gets into that. Only that Vajra, that is called Vajrayudha, and only that finally destroys this Vritra. Who is this great Vritra we will see. He is also a devotee of only two great asuras in Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, who are the whose devotion is hailed like anything. One is Vritrasura and the other one, anybody?
Prahalada.
Prahalada. Okay, so in the Asura family, only the two, Vritrasura and so Vritrasuti is also, I think next week maybe we must invest some time in Vritrastuti and or today only we can see how it is. Very beautiful verses are there where Vritra hails the connection between Jiva and God is very beautifully expressed by Vritra.
Should I continue?
Yeah. So one thing we must remember is these devas, even though there are mistakes that they do, even though Indra loses, that centeredness, but they run back to Bhagavan only. That is something, that's why probably they are devas. Once asuras do not run back to Bhagavan, they do a rajas tapas and they again ask for a boon from them. Yes, but constantly we see the devas getting back, surrendering to Bhagavan again and again. So again here being this, what is this grace? What is the canto? Grace, Anugraha canto. So again to know that whatever I do also, if I surrender to you, you are there to protect. That is one thought that is coming up again and again because every time something happens, but Indra rushes back to Brahma, Narayana, right? And does religiously as told without cross questioning. The devas went to the presence of Dadichi and stood before him in a shamefaced manner. Because they have to now ask, they fell at his feet. In a hesitant voice, Indra told him that he had come to ask a favor of the old man. The old man sat silently, smiling at them, waiting for Indra to continue. Indra told him about his desire for his body, for his bones, and explained the reason why. Dadichi smiled scathingly at them and said, "Death, my dear Devas, is abhorrent even to the most dispassionate of men. You have lost your senses. Even if the Lord himself asks for it, man finds it difficult to part with his life. I do not desire to die. I have been granted immortality, and I do not see why I should forego the privilege for your sakes. I do not wish to die, and I will not renounce this body." It's a nice conversation between a great tapasvi, and it also probably in a very subtle way brings out, when we do so much of tapasya, we do develop little bit of, my tapas shakti, that mamakara, right, in us. And we get attached to it. Probably that's coming up when we read this, so much of this, and we don't want to part with it. The Devas said, "My lord, you are a great man, full of love and compassion." Oh, they know how to talk. For those who are suffering. How can you speak such words? If a man has the good fortune to possess the means to cure himself of his pains, he will never ask another man for help. But we are in trouble, and we cannot do anything by ourselves to ward off this trouble. We are driven to ask this favor of you, though we realize that it is a heinous thing we are doing. This is the only thing that will save us. Please grant it to us.
So even for a great man, leaving the body is not easy. That is the final strongest attachment within each one of us, whether we can attachment to the it is in a way the attachment is so strong because the fear of the unknown. If I leave this body, what next? Could be so many reasons, right? It is that home, it is that comfort, it is like leaving the house and going, suddenly somebody is making me go to the house, go away from the house, in a way, instead of me choosing to go out, right? So even for a great person, great rishi like Dadichi, it is difficult. And the mind is probably, the fight is there in the last days of a person, right? It is time to leave, even for a very high rishi. For me to leave, they were, it is, there is a lot of the sannyasa diksha, they take the samadhi and all that, but there can be a lot of fight even while that decision to leave this body is taken. So that's what is coming to me right now, that fear of death, the fear of losing this body, even though I know very well that this is only a dress. When I change a dress, I don't have any feelings, but when I am going to change this body, it's not as easy. But it is just that only. It is just changing this body at the end.
Yeah. Because, we are so identified with it, right from not birth, I think, right from what others told. When we maybe after the baby grows a little, I don't know, few months or 1 year or so, until then the baby is not body conscious, is what they say, right? And then the moment we start giving reality to these senses, that is where, when I say, okay, what I see is, what is it? Oh, I am feeling. So this is part of me. This is my body. This is me. Nicely, it comes and sits in our intellect. Okay, as one strong thought only. And so body is not really some body. They say it is only a thought. Mm. So when we so even for a rishi, because he's so attached to his own tapasya. But Devas, here again, for Indra, he has to do this. Because whatever mistake he has done, but he's sincerely taking up the what do you say? He has the backing of Narayana. See, that is also one thing, right? We can do all the begging, anything, if we know that I have a backing of Narayana. So at this point, Indra doesn't have his individual ego at all here, right? He just goes and he completely surrenders to the Rishi because Narayana has told, don't fear, I am there. So when that backing is there, then we wouldn't, there is no fear. That is also one more thing that we can get from here. We are driven to ask this favor of you, though it is Indra understands, just for one ayuda to make a weapon, asking one's life is something which is not, it is so difficult. It's a very complicated, what do you say? Sensitive thing, maybe. But yet he does because Narayana has told, that's his order. It has to be. And this is the only way out for Indra also, to hold the feet of Bhagavan. See, the way, it's a wonder to see Bhagavan's ways, He is here slowly, dismantling Dadichi's individuality also. And he is bringing Indra back on track also. These two are the things that we are seeing right now, but so many things might be happening actually. So he's all in one, multi things happen in one action. And then Bhagavan, when we shift our attention to at that level, the way Bhagavan works. So both are being rescued actually. Dadichi is rescued from his attachment to his body, and Devas are now getting rescued from wherever they are, right? So now that they are really pleading, Dadichi says, you have trapped me with an argument which cannot be disputed. So because he's been asked for a favor, a man who will not help those who are in trouble does not inherit the higher worlds. I am prepared to die for you. A really compassionate man will consider the pain of others as though it is his own. And knowing it, if he does not do anything to help others to alleviate their pain, there is then no difference between him and a tree. I will help you in your distress, but without any worry. I will abandon this body of mine for your sakes, and because Narayana himself has said that it will be of use to you. Beautiful, isn't it? Now Dadichi's attention has turned to Narayana. That's all it is. And he's ready to give up. So Dadichi set his mind on Brahman and went into Samadhi. He then renounced his body, which the Devas coveted. Indra took the mighty bones of the Brahmana and gave them to Vishwakarma, Tvashtanu. Okay. Oh, this is different Vishwakarma maybe. The divine architect, yeah. This is not that Asura. The divine architect fashioned out of them the terrible weapon, the thunderbolt, which is famed the world over by the name Vajra. So this is how Indra gets his Vajrayuda. Yeah. Isn't it beautiful? See, here maybe that Vishwakarma, as that Asura Guru, also was vanquished. Yes, if we look at this beautiful drama that is happening, and Indra, the Asuras, they are getting their powers back in this process. And Dadichi is given a good salvation. Yes, blessed with a good salvation. And this Vajrayuda, he is empowering the one who has surrendered to him. He is empowering Indra with his own power. Narayana is empowering Indra. So many things are happening beautifully.
And Vajra is made out of the backbone of the Dadichi. So, the Kundalini, whatever, there are so many things that are attached here. So, I'm sure there is a, with that Shakti, the vritti is being destroyed.
Yeah.
It is used to, right? It is with that Shakti, the vritti, the mind, Indra is destroying that vritti.
Right.
So then, yeah, in a way.
Yeah. It's very beautiful. We can actually... Please continue, Arti. But
Okay, combat between Indra and Vritra. Mounted on his favorite elephant, Airavata, Indra set out to fight with Vritra. Led by Indra, the host of the Devas traveled towards the spot where Vritra stood with his army. On the banks of the river Narmada, a dreadful battle was fought between Indra and Vritra. On the one side was Vritra with the host of the Asuras, the chief among them being Namuchi, Shambhara, Hayagriva, Puloma, Vrishaparva, Heti, Praheti, Mali, Sumali, and of course many others. Indra had with him the 11 Rudras, the 8 Vasus, the 12 Adityas, the 2 Ashwins, the 4 Pitris, the 49 Agnis, 49 Maruts, the 10 Vishwadevas, and many others. The battle was frightful. This time the Devas were not affected by the astras of the Asuras. They stood firm like good men who are unaffected by the wounding words of small-minded men. The Deva host was gaining the upper hand, and the Asuras were abandoning the field of battle and running away. Seeing the demoralization which had set in, Vritra was quite angry with his men. He raised his voice and said, "Listen to me, all of you. Death is something no one can avoid. Once you are born, you are certain to die. Death comes in a myriad forms, but eventually it does come to each and everyone. When such is the case, when you know you have to die some time or other, is it not right that you should stop and consider about this death for a moment? When death, which is unavoidable, brings fame and name and a good place in the heavens after this life on earth, is not death then desirable? Abandoning this mortal frame when in yoga and dying without turning one's back in the field of battle are both desirable and both are not possible for everyone. It is given only to the chosen few, and you should therefore be not afraid of death, considering it is but a necessary end to life." See, what is this death that Vritra Sura is talking about? It is the depth of that sense of I, that I-ness. This whole thing is of that final I-ness, right? When the mind is clean, everything, all the vasanas, everything has happened, but still that final, it's like that bubble. I is like a bubble. All these cells are held together because of the sense of I-ness. I feel myself, I am a separate individual because of the sense of I-ness. I am separate from you. And that I-ness is what causes this ego. And now this Vritrasura is a significance of that I-ness. And when they say, even Raghuramji has told, when we talk about the fear, right, the root of fear is the fear of death. The highest fear is the fear of death. And what does that death signify? That fear is the fear of losing out that I-ness. That this I-ness will not be there. It is not just about the body. This body brings that sense of I-ness, that I am a separate individual. So now it is an unknown. If I am not, a big fear that affects one is all the spiritual books will talk about that final bursting of that bubble, where the jiva becomes one with the Paramatma, where the jivatma becomes one with the Paramatma. So there, that I-ness, the death of that I-ness is what is, so the death is only a body. So why are you afraid of that? That is what your connection is only with the body. So the I-ness is only of the body. That is not you. That is not the real you.
a beautiful analogy that I think Adi Shankaracharya has given in some things. It is like, in this body, I think I am this body. It is like living inside a jail. Yes, a very free person living inside a jail. And I am so caught up with it. I'm so comfortable with this body that I do not, even if someone comes and opens the jail door, I close and I say, I want to be inside only. You paint the wall, this, I heard this, you paint the grill nicely. You make this jail, an AC. This is like how we are trying to make this body comfortable, Give me an AC jail and I get 3 times food here. If I go out, will I get food? All those fear, I am being treated very well here. If I go out, we can't even imagine what is there outside the jail, right? We are just in this and we don't want to leave. That is the fear. I'm so comfortable with this and I don't want to leave. And this fear can be broken in the presence of Bhagavan himself, in the presence of a mighty being. That is what they say, the power of satsanga and all that. In the presence of a mighty being, such fears are broken and one loses the individuality.
As per the Garbhopanishad, in the 8th month, in the 7th month only, the child gets knows that it is a part of, now identifies with its body. Until the 6th month, even though it is part of this body, it is still associating itself with the spiritual womb. Only in the 7th month, it now gets that identification with the body that I am in this body. That's why in the 7th month, if you see, the baby will kick around a lot. Suddenly it has realized I'm in this body and it will do so much kicking around. Now, in the 8th month, the baby goes through a kind of, the month is called Bhavana. In that month, it will go through a little bit of, what would you say? It is called a kind of positive depression, where it is saying it will remember all its past janmas, it will remember all its past lives and impressions and why it has taken, and be like, oh my God, I have to come out again. I don't want to come out again. This is, it looks like it's time for me to come out, and I don't want to come out again into this world where I'm going to collect the karma all over again. And, it is like that fear. So there is a fear of the unknown, right? Now, if I come out, now I have been in this womb for so long. Why should I come out? Kind of that, this thing is there. And in the 9th month, and the dead decides, okay, I'm ready. It's like, on the roller coaster, you're there on top and it's going to just come down and you're thinking, why am I sitting here? This is going to be scary. And then when that drop happens, you've had fun. When it is over, then it is wonderful. So like that, this is that breaking of that bubble and that fear just before embarking on that place of it. Like when we die, the body becomes one with the Panchabhuta. The water becomes part of the water, the air becomes part of the air, the body, the earth decays and becomes part of the earth. Like that, if that fear is overcome and the unknown is welcomed, then that Atma also becomes one with that. Abandoning this mortal frame when in yoga. That is a very important part. If you're abandoning, if the mortal frame is abandoned, normally again the cycle is going to continue. When in yoga and dying without turning one's back in the field of battle are both desirable and both are not possible for everyone. It is given only to the chosen few. And so you should therefore not be afraid of death, considering it is but a necessary end to life.
Here, this turning one's back in the field of battle is because they are asuras, no? He says that. Other way where we can look at it is maybe, I don't know, Karma Yoga is what he's bringing up here.
We'll go on.
And both are not possible for it. The asuras heeded him not. Vritra then turned towards the Devas and spoke in anger. He said, what is the use of harassing these poor asuras who are fleeting from you? Now Indra, the asuras heeded him not. Vritra then turned, sorry, I'm a little. Vritra turned towards the Devas and spoke in anger. He said, what is the use of harassing these poor asuras who are fleeting from you? It brings no credit to you if you hurt those who are running away from you in fear. If you are really brave, come and face me and see if you can fight with me. So Vritra is now challenging. Vritra sent up a mighty roar, and it sent shaft or fear through the hearts of the Devas. With his trident raised aloft, Vritra entered the army of the Devas and single-handed began to destroy it. Indra hurled a huge mace at Vritra, who caught it with his left hand, brandished it, and flung it at the elephant called Airavata. The elephant retreated a few paces, wounded as it was by the mace. Seeing his opponent in trouble, Vritra did not use the mace again. Indra was getting ready to attack him, and Vritra laughed at Indra and said, it is fortunate that I am fighting you, a great sinner. You killed my brother, your preceptor, a Brahmin, who was bent on doing good to you. I will run my trident through your heart and thus clear the debt I owe my brother who is dead. Why are you not trying to hit me with the Vajra? Are you by any chance afraid of me? Afraid that it may fail you? This Vajra of yours has been fashioned from the body of a great man at the behest of Lord Narayana himself. It owes its power to the Dichi and to the sanctity bestowed on it by Narayana. Use the Vajra on me. So, Vritra is no ordinary Asura. He knows all this and he wants the Vajra to come to him. Wherever the Lord is, there will be victory. I, for one, will think on the Lord and rest my thoughts on him. If I am killed, I will only be giving up this sinful body. I am not grieved. Use your Vajra on me. Are you afraid that it will prove ineffectual against me? Like a request is ineffectual when it is made to a sinner? Are you afraid that the Vajra will fail you like your mace did? Do not worry. This Vajra, which has been blessed for me, which have been blessed by the Lord, will not fail you. You are sure to kill me. So Vritra, very beautifully, is showing his true colors to Indra, isn't it?
It is
So,
the Highness is telling, destroy me. Mind don't dwell in me. Destroy me with the power that Narayana has bestowed on you.
and only Narayana's power can kill the Highness.
And I know, the Highness know, the Jiva now knows that I am not there. Only this body is dying.
Yes, yes.
So
It
there's
also
nothing to worry.
knows it wants to be one with
Wants to be one.
Narayana. There is so much of longing. There is so much of devotion we will see. Yes, there's so much of devotion. Devotion is already built for this Vritra. Yes, he's there. He wants to be one with Narayana. He wants to be killed in the hands of Narayana. He knows that Vajra is empowered by Narayana himself. Yes, so that is the way to give up the body, give up this I-ness, right? That is the only way. I-ness cannot go in with our effort. Not possible. Because we exist because I is existing. We exist meaning I am here with this body and mind because one individuality was born sometime and that wanted this mind, this body, that wanted this body for some functions. So it has come. So with the same, whatever thoughts, this I cannot go. This is the foundation. So for that to shake, yes, everything must surrender to Bhagavan. And when that surrender happens, Bhagavan himself comes and destroys this I. And we have seen this many times, no? The salt doll trying to go explore, find out how deep the ocean is. Only dissolves in the ocean. So here, he wants to. There is a longing for Vritra to be one with Narayana.
Bala, I'd like to stop here and just
yeah.
gently, kind of pose. I know this is very, very complicated, very high level in a way, this whole thing that has been put. So we'll just if anybody wants to share what you have understood, who is Vritra? What is the state of Brahma? So far, whatever you have understood from whatever we have shared, if you would like to kind of summarize that, we'll do that, right?
Yeah, sure.
Anybody? You can put it in the chat or unmute and talk. What is all this denoting to you? We've been also saying some things, but how much, if you have something different or whatever is coming in your mind, any other connections, please do share. Sometimes when we say it, right, even in our own minds, there's a slightly better clarity than when we are listening. Rajeshri, Divya wants to say something?
Yeah, Vritra is very courageous. Very courageous.
Vritra?
No, very courageous.
And who, according to you, is Vritra?
I can't say. I'm not able to say.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. Anybody else?
I actually started a little late, but from what I remember, Vritha is actually a form of the Asuras, right? Some snake, serpent, something like that was there.
He was
Or a
yes,
dragon.
He came out of the sacrificial fire that was,
Right.
yeah, done by Twashta. Twashta is the father of another guru called Vishwakarma, who was killed by Indra.
Vishwarupa.
So, Vishwarupa, sorry. So this Vritra is brought about by Twashta to kill Indra.
Okay.
Yeah. You can just tell the story also, what you understood so far. Why did Indra lose his powers in the beginning?
Disrespectful towards his guru.
Disrespectful towards his Guru Tattva. Correct. And why did that disrespect happen?
Ego, pride.
Huh. So what was he doing at that time when the Guru entered?
Enjoying too much.
Indulging.
Indulging in sense enjoyments. When he was indulging in sense enjoyments, then a guru came. Even a guru, he couldn't. He was so indulgent in that sense pleasures that he couldn't even recognize a guru. That guru, and what is that guru was shared earlier, right? Sometimes that guru is also within us. Okay, so then he lost his powers, and then
Surrender to the Lord.
and then he turned to the Lord. And when he turned to the Lord, Narayana tells him to make a, what did Narayana?
Vajrayana. Vajrayana from Sage Dadichi's bones.
Correct. Right. To destroy Vritrasura. To just give a very quick brief, we all, even in the earlier, we all said, if I am sitting in a room, I know there is an I-ness within me. I am separate. But in reality, this I-ness that I feel is only, it is like the moons. I have a consciousness. I feel I am there. That consciousness that I have is not separate. As of now, I feel I am separate. You are all separate. But in reality, we have all borrowed this consciousness from the supreme consciousness. I am like the moon, and the sun is the supreme consciousness. The moon does not have a light of its own. Only the sun has light. But I am borrowing the light of that supreme consciousness, and then I say I am separate. It is like in a magnetic field, many iron filings are kept. And then each iron filing is now getting magnetized. And it is saying, I am separate. Every magnet, every iron filing is now saying, I am different, I am different, I am different. But in reality, each one of these iron filings is powered by what? By the magnetic field of that one magnet. Similarly, we are all powered by the consciousness of that one singularity, that supreme. There is no even existence of us without that singularity. But this I-ness that I feel is Vritra, as shown in the story. And that is why that Vritra himself is saying, come on, destroy me. You are ready. You are ready to realize that you are one with that supreme consciousness. That you are not a separate entity. So destroy this, destroy me with your Vajra. It is telling the mind, destroy me. Destroy this sense of separateness. Know that you are one with the supreme consciousness, that there is nothing other than supreme consciousness. There is no separate I at all. There was this story of Ramakrishna Paramahamsa also. He is very, that's a little different from this, but it is that final oneness even there. He was very devoted to Kali Mata, and he was so devoted to Kali Mata that he was always praying to Kali Mata. He thought he himself was Kali Mata. He would put flowers on him. Okay, that sense of separateness of, he didn't think he was that I-ness. There was no separate time, but that Kali Mata was there. And then his guru comes and chops off asks him to chop off the head of Kali Mata, because that is not helping him realize the oneness with that supreme reality, that nirvikara, nirakara, absolute nirguna tattva, which is the supreme consciousness. You are one. That it is like that consciousness everywhere, like that magnetism. You are that is the only reality. And to realize that, so he actually pokes him. When he's dancing with Kali Mata, the moment he closes his eyes, he starts, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa starts dancing with Kali Mata. At that time, he pokes him. And when he pokes him, they have decided that he should cut off the head of Kali Mata. And when he cuts off the head of Kali Mata, he attains that final oneness with that supreme reality. So it is like saying there is nothing it is full freedom. There is nothing, even that I-ness is not stopping me. Does it mean that this body or this mind will not be there? It may or may not be there, but that sense of I-ness, separateness, like Ramana Maharishi, he was always in that highest self. So, in a way, this is very deep philosophy. We can read it as a story, but the story is based on this deep philosophy. It may seem very complicated, but I think that is the philosophy it's trying to bring out for us to know that at every level we keep coming out of the whole idea. Liberation, when they are talking about, is liberation from everything that is keeping me separated from that higher self. When I am in fear, there is a separation from that higher self. When I am in anxiety, there is a separation from that higher self. When I am, because that all these becomes like clouds coming in front of us. So for us, the I-ness is like the highest level. Right now, for all of us, is to come out and destroy, get liberated from each of the vrittis that keep coming and going. Each of the other vrittis, which is like anxiety, stress, fear, grudges I hold, complaints that I have. All of these are because I am associated with this, that I-ness is too strong. I am hurt because this person did this. I hold a grudge because this person did this. I have this complaint because I am not being respected or I am being treated like this. So because that I-ness, that ego is very strong, hence I feel separated from the Supreme Reality. So destroy that ego and know and completely be surrendered at the feet of the Lord.
These instruments are given to us to completely surrender to the higher self, to the reality. Yeah, these instruments seem to appear. They are not real. So very beautifully here, it starts with the mind completely being outward, indulging and losing track of the guiding principle. Yes. But it wakes up at some point in time and surrenders to, seeks the help, we can say, of the higher self again. So again, the higher self comes and gives, gives the guidance as needed, so that the final individual identity is, dissolved. That is the essence of this, one way of looking at this Vritrasura story. So Indra, once he surrenders, he gets empowered, with actually that is what we call, even in spiritual field, whatever in our journey, in our life, when things come in favor for us, so that our ego is dissolving, that we identify, we say that is grace. Okay, so that way Indra's Vajrayuda is from the Tapasya Shakti. Indra, Narayana gave him a blessing of that Tapasya Shakti to Indra to fight. So using the same instrument only, again, even in Bhagavatam, we have seen that, no, using the same instrument only, we can cross over this also. So Indra is, but how can we use it? Only under the guidance of the higher self. Okay, instrument does not know how to be done. So again, surrendering this, that's why always my arpita mano buddhi, Bhagavan says in manas buddhi, just surrender to me, surrender to me, surrender to me. I still have the individuality. Individuality is not gone. I'm not able to get out of it. But what can I do? This body, I'm identifying as me. This mind, I'm identifying as me. These thoughts, I'm identifying as this. So every thought that comes, put as one flower, like an archana to Bhagavan's feet. Say, oh, this is yours, this is you. This is a method that, is advised by all the rishis. Every thought that comes, put it as this itself is a tapasya. More and more and more, like how Indras and Devas go and fall at Brahma's feet, go and fall at Narayana's feet. It is like whatever comes in the mind, whatever the body takes, keep putting at his feet. Surrender, surrender, surrender. That's all we can do. So this instrument then starts getting tuned to the higher self, right? The connection is there. The guidance comes. Then the higher self manifests in, acts through these instruments and dissolve the individual ego, which initially looks like a huge asura. That's what we have seen now. And in the battle, we will see how Indra himself is astonished by the devotion of that. The more and more we actually surrender the body and mind to Bhagavan, the ego is full of devotion. Like that ball we saw, no? That the ego becomes full of devotion, like that Vritrasura. It may look so huge from outside, but it is made of devotion only. So it is ready to get. So our sadhana or our focus is all in putting our body, whatever work we do through our hands, kayena vacha manasendriya. That's it, I think. Whatever we do, we talk, what thoughts come in, everything is his. We keep doing it, then ego becomes fully powerful with devotion, and he knows when to, that we do not know.
Yeah. I'm just remembering, like Yudhishthira got caught with the senses, went on with his gambling, but Draupadi was filled with devotion, and when she called, immediately she was blessed. So, message: sensory pleasures versus pleasure of indulging in the higher self. Okay. What should we choose? You must have got that message, right?
Mayarpita manobuddhi. That's what is in our realm as of now, when this individuality is existing. So whatever action I do, be it breathing, be it sleeping, be it cooking, be it doing whatever, everything is his work. Some thought is coming, the thought is yours. A very
I
beautiful.
became irritated. Something he brought it. It is over. Got it. Finished there only. That's all.
It
That
is a
is also his
beautiful
person.
verse that the Bhagavan Ramana Maharishi has given in
Time is up, actually.
time is up, no? So I'll just share this. So whatever thought comes, okay, put it as his own form. So thought is also a form, right? So ennuru yavum irai uru ena. Everything is form of the Lord. Yes, what thought comes, that is the Lord's form. Okay, when we take it like that is Isanar Puja Yundi Para. He says that is the best puja we can do to Bhagavan. Everything. So
instead of again regretting and saying, why did I, what did I do? No, something, his Leela. Got it.
don't think it is escaping. Actually, when we start practicing it, we will know how beautifully it guides. Yeah, I think it's too much. We overshot.
Asato ma satgamaya तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ओम् श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ओम् Thank you.